All right, let's get into Heat. Now, this ain't the great 1995 movie Heat. This is the Heat with Burt Reynolds. And I have to say, this is a different kind of Burt Reynolds. If you're expecting to see the Smokey the Bandit, Cannonball Run, the wisecracking, easy to laugh, Burt Reynolds, you're going to be sorely disappointed in this movie. Here he's more serious. Think of more serious Burt Reynolds as he's kind of changing his career at this time, going to like a different type of looking for a different type of roles he was during this period. So let's get into Heat. This movie takes place in Las Vegas and begins with a badly beaten woman desperately trying to get to the emergency room. At the same time, we're introduced to Burt Reynolds. His character's name is Nick Escalante. Hopefully I pronounced that right. In a rather unusual way, Nick starts hitting on a woman in front of a man. He acts like a complete jerk, makes advances at her, and eventually allows the other guy to beat him up. But there's more going on, and it initially appears Nick is actually trying to help. He's actually helping the man impress this woman. Right away, the movie established something important about Nick. He's a tough guy, but underneath, he's a softie. He's always gonna try to help people out. He's good natured, and that's important because that is a very different Burt Reynolds performance. I always kind of think of more of a Deliverance. If you like Burt Reynolds and Deliverance, it gives that kind of performance. This is more settled, subtle, calmer Burt Reynolds kind of thing. Character work we got going on. The woman we saw at the beginning is Holly, a prostitute and friend of Nick's. She was brutally beaten by a man named DeMarco. He's like a mobster boss kind of guy. And the DeMarco, he's okay, but I feel like the actor playing him was trying too hard to portray a mobster type of character. Maybe a little bit of Pacino, a bad imitation of Al Pacino from Scarface in this one. But it's okay, I guess. But he just doesn't really pull off the role very well. And it's one of my problems with Heat is sometimes it really feels like a theatrical release. But there are also times in this movie where you kind of feel like you're watching a made-for-TV type of movie. But it does have its bright spots in its movies. When he confronts DeMarco, we got a pretty good fight scene, and it's well choreographed and interesting because, Burt Reynolds in this movie doesn't like to use guns. So he kind of takes a credit card out of his wallet. And so he's kind of like slicing people up with this credit card of his. Pretty innovative, actually. But the problem with this fighting choreography is some reason the director decided to use a bunch of slow motion scenes, I don't know. It just uses slow motion in the middle of the fighting, and it kind of throws you off and takes you out of what's going on. But other than that, it's pretty good fighting choreography there, and Burt Reynolds holds his own as somewhat of an action hero during this sequence. Just the slow motion was uncharacteristic. I don't know why they would do it. Maybe because they thought it looked cool, I guess. Anyways, at one point, he goes and tries to get some money to leave Las Vegas because he knows he's really got heat on himself. He just beat up this mob boss. It's kind of like a junior mob boss to like the father, I guess, of the organization. So he's trying to get out of there before they can catch up with him. Unfortunately, that doesn't really work. But after the casino scene, before we get into that, the movie really slows down to a snail pace, and it gets kind of boring. We got him bonding with a guy named Cyrus, and they're, he helped Cyrus out before because Cyrus had some gambling debt, so he kind of helped him out with his debt. So they kind of bonded, and this bonding period is, I'm gonna say, it's kind of boring. But the whole reason for this 10-minute montage of them getting along is it's just so at the end when he finally gets tracked down by the head mob bosses, we can see Cyrus take a bullet for him. Gets shot up pretty bad. But don't worry about good old Cyrus. I know this is a little spoiler alert. But this movie is 40 years old. He lives at the end, so his good friend Cyrus lives. He has somebody to hang out with after all the events. The movie is pretty good, though, especially the final act, the finale. It is probably like the highlight of the film. Of course, that's what you want because it's the climax. You got people getting electrocuted, people get on fire, and then instead of basically beating up DeMarco here at the end physically, he kind of talks to him and attacks him mentally to the point where DeMarco kind of gives up and ends up committing suicide. Overall, like I said, it's a different kind of Burt Reynolds movie, especially if you're there, if you just know him from like the late 70s, early 80s, Smoking the Bandit and such. He puts in a great performance. You kind of see how this propels him also for those later roles, like in Boogie Nights, the one with Demi Moore, Striptease, those type of movies. But overall, I did enjoy Burt Reynolds' performance. The movie's a little uneven. Like I said, sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's like a made-for-TV, Hallmark type of stuff going on. Not really Hallmark, not really Hallmark, but, that quality of acting and cinematography and stuff. But overall, it's on Amazon Prime. If you're a big Burt Reynolds fan, highly recommend it. If you're just looking, for a Burt Reynolds movie to see what he's like, I guess I would try like Deliverance and Smoking the Bandit before you hit this one. But that's my take on it. Let me know what your comments below. How much do you like hate? How much you like Heat? How much do you hate Heat? Let me know below. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.